What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am bringing you an updated, new and improved ultimate deviation, shiny deviation farming guide. I know I just released the previous ultimate edition. I'll probably change that thumbnail to outdated shiny farming guide and make this one the ultimate one, because with the patch that dropped this morning on the 12th, pretty much everything changed. There's almost no global cooldowns on anything. There may be a little bit of throttling here and there on certain ones that I'll go over here in a second. But for the most part, you can get these shinies way faster. So instead of doing a live demo and going step by step on each one like I did in the last one, I'll still sort of do that in this video, but just not as in depth. What I did was I revamped the cheat sheet with just the best locations to find all these, as well as how I went about finding them the quickest, and what I found personally from my testing. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. So I guess we could start out with the new cheat sheet. I will, for this video, be saving this out as a PDF that you guys can download from a link in the description, so you don't have to screenshot it anymore because it is a little bit longer now. But right out the gate for respawns, the cats, from what I've found, seem to still be on about a 30-minute refresh. Just go to every major town, cycle through all 10 worlds. You guys know the deal. I'll go through, for the people that may be seeing this video for the first time, and show you the spawn locations for the cats in each of these major towns as we go through. The next one that I'll talk about, just because it kind of can be done at the same time as the cats, is actually the town securement containers. This was a new feature that was added with the patch. There was now one player specific container in every major town as well that can be collected, from what I've seen, once every 12 hours. Now, I'm not 100% on this because I grabbed my first container in like the mid-afternoon evening time on the reset day, and then by the middle of the night, it was probably after midnight, I was able to grab it again. So I don't know if that's a refresh within 12 hours or if it's a refresh just once a day because I happen to hit the 12 a.m. marker and it counted as the next day at this point. When I go through and do the cats, if they're back, then I'll know it's 12 hours. So it's either once or twice a day at least that you can get these containers. And I'll probably show a clip here. Those containers can actually drop shiny deviations. The clip that I'm showing now, I ended up getting a glistening blue butterfly. So it can be random. I got some buzzy bees and things like that, some more generic ones, but I did get a shiny, so I wanted to include that as well. The other thing is going to be mushrooms. Those, in my opinion, seem to be one of the most throttled shiny deviations after the patch that I've found so far. From my experiences over hours and hours of farming them since the patch, it feels like you can really only get one or so deviated mushroom drop per run of the mushroom cave, and it seems to be refreshing every hour or so. So it's still much faster than it was before, but you do seem to still be limited to one per run, and that's regardless of what world you're on. I grabbed one from my world, and then within the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes after that, I didn't get a single one, regardless of what world I was on. If you guys have found anything different and you were able to get multiple in one run, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'd be curious to hear. But for my testing, I was only ever able to get one at a time within about an hour or so period. For butterflies, they've kind of remained the same. Feels like about a 30-minute to 1 hour reset. I will show off 3 or 4 different locations that the butterflies spawn, including my favorite location with some clips. They also can spawn randomly from silos, so I guess that can be the next thing that I can talk about. Pretty much every single silo now, including the ones that already have deviations assigned to them, like take silo 5, for example. You would normally get the Chephosaurus from the secondary boss on that, but after killing the boss and collecting the rewards and the main boss, I managed to get a deviation to drop in the random final rewards claimable pool. It just showed up as a reward once you collected it with either the F or the G option. Either or can work. If the deviation spawns, it should show up in either or. So you can get shinies and random deviation rolls from any of the bosses in any of the silos, even if it has a guaranteed bubble drop. But those will come from not a bubble, but from the reward pool once you collect your rewards at the end. So keep that in mind. Next, we have the slimes. This is pretty much the same as it was before. You just farm the Ravenous Hunter boss as much as you want over and over again. There is no limit. However, the rates have increased. Before, it felt around like every 1 in 10 runs or so you would get one. Now I feel like it's almost double that. So you can do the same thing you're doing before. They just should drop more frequently now. Moving on to Digby's. These have been increased substantially. Feels like it's sort of on like a 1-ish hour reset with diminishing rates after your first 3 or 4 pulls. I've gotten upwards of about 5 or 6 in an hour, but I think I may have just gotten lucky. Several other times where I farmed for an hour straight, I only got about 3 or 4 of them, and then it seemed like none were dropping whatsoever for almost like 30 to 40 minutes after that. So how I think it might be working is there's no real like hard refresh on it, but after you get like your first 3 or 4 drops, they typically come pretty quickly. I think every consecutive drop after that, the drop rates get reduced substantially to about like probably below 1% or 1%, something like that. Because I have heard reports randomly of people getting 6 or 7, and if 6 or 7 can drop, then probably 8 or 9 can drop. You know what I mean? So if those rare instances are happening where people are getting a ton more than everyone else, it usually comes down to just luck. And my guess is it's more based around drop rates after that point. So from what I've experienced, again, it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 consistent drops within a shorter period of time, with the potential to get a few more within the hour or 2 hour period. But the rates are going to be much more reduced, and it's going to be harder to get them. You just have to get lucky. Moving on to bunnies. This is, I feel like, broken right now. There's absolutely no limit. And not only can you get them still from the giant red sands trees, but they were also added as drops to the cypress trees, which I'll show my favorite 2 locations for as well. And when you're chopping these things down with an axe, I've seen 3, 4, 5 of them drop at any given point, and they are just dropping like crazy right now. I've got some pretty crazy clips. Maybe I'll show you one here. There was like 5 to 10 just spare fetch-a-lot bunnies just floating around in the air near some of these trees. They just are dropping like crazy, and I've consistently gotten at least 2 with almost every single tree that I've cut down. So my guess is they'll probably nerf that. They seem to be dropping way more than they're supposed to right now, but now you know. Now's the time to do it, just in case they do nerf it. They are very easy to collect right now. I've gotten every single shiny deviant right now, with the exception of 1 after these drop rates have increased. So that is pretty much all of the ways that you can get them and what I have found in my testing of what the timers are. But next, let's go into the best locations to farm these different shiny deviations. This will be a little bit of a repeat for those of you that watched my previous video, but for the newbies, I want to make this as a complete guide as possible. So we will quickly go through each of these one by one. So first off, an example farm and locations. I mentioned the town-specific player securement containers. You get 1 in every major town. Respawn every 12 hours or so. If you're lucky, you can snag them twice a day. Like I said, mine may have been on the border of the daily reset, so I don't know if that's what caused it, but it's at least once a day that you can collect these. Silos, run any silo that you want as many times as you want on any difficulty that you want, and the higher the difficulty, the higher the ratings tend to be. It is complete RNG deviations that drop on the final rewards. You just have to claim them, and regardless of which boss it is on any silo, even if it's one that has an assigned deviation to it, you can still get random deviations to drop from them on top of the normal deviations. I've gotten 2 from just the final boss alone, the one that is normally there, and a random one that went into the final loot pool. So be sure to check those final, whether you use a controller and do the F option or just do a normal G option. There is a chance that the extra deviant can spawn in the reward pool as well. So always be sure to check that. I know some people just don't bother with it if it's a lower level and they just skip over that final rewards if they don't see it physically drop. Just know that it can be in that pool, so always check it. Moving on to the cats. All major towns, all 10 worlds, every 30 minutes. Let's go. So I will skip back over to the game real quick. First one that I like to go to is right here in Tallgrass Inn. Now, Tallgrass Inn is going to be one of the easiest ones because you can actually see the cat spawn right from the teleporter, so you can do these really, really quick. Just go to the teleporter. I'm on World 9 right now. We don't see one. And by the way, it's going to spawn on this little tiny island right here. And also, while I'm in each of these major towns, I will show off the location of the daily securement silos that you can collect. And this is on a player-to-player basis, so you don't have to worry about other players stealing it from you. But in Tallgrass Inn, this is where that container is located. So let's go ahead and secure that. And it is past midnight, so it may just be the daily reset for me. That's why this is showing up again. But look right there. Right away, we got a shiny cat variant. So we got the Good Fortune Tuxedo Cat. So that is the spawn location of the securement container for the Tallgrass Inn. That is the spawn of the cat. Let's quickly change some worlds and see if we can get one to spawn here. Just so you can see an exact location. None there. Go to the next one. None there. Go to the next one. And by the way, the cats and the deviations in general in these towns will instantly spawn the second you transfer to a new world. So even if there's a ton of vehicles and things like that that are taking forever to load, you should still be able to look over and the deviations will be there. Whether everything else in the environment has spawned in or not, the NPCs, things like that. The deviations are almost instantaneous. Let's go to World 3. And there's one there. So that's where it will spawn. And by the way, I mentioned this in the previous video. We all pretty much get the extra dimensional cat, which is the white one with the black stripes. The 3 variants that you can get are the Siamese cat, which will be kind of a grayish white with no stripes. The orange cat, which will be orange with white stripes. And then the tuxedo cat, which will be black with some white on the front of its chest. So if I go over and I look and I see white with black stripes, I don't even bother with it. I just skip over it and go directly to the next world. So that is where the spawn is for Tallgrass Inn and the securement container for Tallgrass Inn. Moving on to the next town. Let's go over to Blackfell and work our way down. This one's the worst in my opinion. That's why I like to get it out of the way, because trucks are all over the place and it tends to be really laggy. People usually farm this one up pretty quick because it gives you the highest level cat drops possible because it's the highest level area. But for the securement container, the one in Blackfell is located right here. You can just wrap around, interact with it, and get your potentially daily reward. Looks like we just got a normal butterfly this time. And then for the cat location, it's going to spawn right up here on this second floor. It can bug out every once in a while and be down here in the middle of the kitchen in the lower level. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or if someone just failed to snag it from the top floor and it just floated down. That could be a possibility as well. But let's quickly change worlds here and see if we can spot one, just so you know exactly where it is. And you can see it, just like in Tallgrass Inn, directly from the teleporter, so you don't need to run very far. This is what I hate about it. It lags so much. World 2. Can't even see it. Nothing here. World 3. Nothing here. Won't waste too much time because I kind of went over this in the previous video, but right up here in this kitchen, sometimes behind the bar, you'll see the bubble there. And if you don't have a ton of trucks in the way, like I have now on my server, you should be able to see the spawn from the teleporter. So you don't have to run up there every single time. So that is the securement container location and the cat location in Blackfell. Let's quickly move on to the next one. We've got Greywater Camp. And by the way, for all of these, when you're farming for cats, you're going to want to go to every major town and then cycle through all 10 worlds, checking that spawn location every single time. And again, that respawns every 30 minutes or so. So if you want to focus on cats, every 30 minutes to an hour, just head back to every major town again and do all 10 worlds. And that's how you're going to get them the fastest. Now for the next town, as you can already see, the securement silo is on top of the building. So to get to that, you're just going to run up the stairs. and get another shot at a shiny deviant here. Got a strange door, so nothing that time. And then that's the container. And then for the cat, it's going to spawn in this building right here. So look, we got another tuxedo shiny variant there. I won't bother picking it up. I've got one already. And it can also spawn behind the building. So what I like to do, let's quickly change worlds, is I just change worlds real quick. Go to the next one. And then I run into the building. Got another one, don't want it. And then I roll and I just turn my camera and you can actually see the bubble name pop up through the wall. Kind of like wall hacks. So you don't have to physically go all the way outside and look. As long as you're like right here and then turn your camera, you can see whether or not there's something behind the wall. But usually it spawns right here where this one is. So that is the spawn location for Greywater Camp. Moving on, we have Deadsville. All right, so in Deadsville, there's a little trick to spotting the cats a little bit quicker, and that is standing on top of this tent and just jumping. The cat is going to spawn inside this bedroom of the red house, and when you're up here jumping, you should be able to see the spawn through the window. So just cycle through worlds and see if you get a lucky spawn. I won't do all of them, but just try and see if I can get an example really quick, because it's pretty fast. Nothing there. And again, you want to cycle through all 10 worlds. Nothing there. I've been told that it can kind of glitch out and go on the back side of the building sometimes. Honestly, this will be the lowest level ones that you can get. So if it's not visible from that window, I don't even bother with it. But this is the bedroom that it would ultimately spawn in. You would see it from that tent through the window, and then you would just run up here to claim it. It can technically fall outside here every once in a while, but it's very rare. If I don't see it in the window, I don't bother with it. So that is the cat spawn for Deadsville. Now for the securement container in Deadsville, it's going to be right in this little barn here, right around the corner of the main entrance. So we go ahead and grab this one. Another strange door, but again, it can have shiny deviation variants as we've seen. So that is the location of the securement container. On to the last and final town of Myers Market. All right, once you spawn in, you're going to want to run to the top of the hill. And the securement container is actually in the same room that the cat spawns, so it's pretty easy to find this one. You're going to want to run just past the teleporter, and the cats will spawn in this back room, and there is the securement container. Another butterfly, so only one shiny from our containers this time around. I have to wait for the refresh to have another attempt at it. But let's quickly go through and see if we can potentially get a spawn here, just so you can get an idea. And there we go. It looks like a tuxedo cat. Yep, tuxedo cat. Almost looked like a Siamese one for a minute. But that is where the cat would spawn in Deadsville. Or not Deadsville, Myers Market. So that is all of the cat spawns and all of the securement container spawns. The next thing, while we're here, that I think we can go over is the mushrooms. Mushrooms are going to be in the mushroom cave. Actually, let's do mushrooms last because there's something I want to show off in the base. Next, we can do the bunnies because that is a new little spawn location that I want to go over here. So the bunnies, you can either farm the 2 red sands trees that I recommended in my previous video. I can go and show those here in a second. And then I have 2 locations for 2 large cypress trees that are really easy to get to as well. One of which is right here in Myers Market. That's why I wanted to do this. They're dropping like crazy right now, almost no limit. So we can go and test this right now. I've supplied some screenshots. So this one is going to be right outside of Myers Market. You're just going to drive your bike up to it. There is a bit of a bug right now where when you change worlds, the tree isn't refreshing. The only way that I've seen it come back, it's this big tree right here. The only way I've seen it come back is by fully like exiting out completely from Once Human and then starting the game back up again, and that will refresh it and come back. Just doing a log out and log back in didn't even make it come back. I had to physically like fully exit the game and come back in and switch worlds, and then it would spawn again. So it's a little buggy right now. I don't know if it's just because so many people are doing it, but we can quickly drive over there now and show it off just to get an idea of the drop. And like I said, I've been getting consistently at least like 2 rabbits from every single tree attempt. Hopefully no one's here chopping it down. It is later in the evening, so hopefully we get lucky here and not have to worry about it. Looks like we're good. I just want to run up to it, and this is the cypress tree, not the red sands one. And let's see what kind of drops we get. I am amazed right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they hotfixed it already, honestly, because so many of them were dropping. That is the first time I have never gotten a bunny to drop since the patch update. Something tells me they hotfixed it. I'll show some clips right now of us getting like 3 or 4 in one chop, which was pretty ridiculous. So that is the type of tree you're going to be looking for, and the one that I recommend going to first. That's in Myers Market. What we can do next is drive back to Myers Market real quick and teleport to the next location that I want to talk about, which is another easily accessible cypress tree. And it's going to be in the Iron River territory. So it looks like we're in the zone now. We can hop off our bike. And the next one is going to be right over here. And again, I've posted a screenshot with the path you want to follow in the PDF as well. You want to spawn right here at this teleportation tower. And the tree is going to be located on the top of the cliff. So we just have to drive to it on our motorcycle real quick. So from here, you're going to just hop on your bike and follow the route I take now. I want to follow this little mountain path right here. And the tree we're looking for is right there off in the distance. Hopefully it's not taken when we get there. A lot of people like to farm this one too now. Lagging out. Awesome. Now, if we don't get one on this chop, I'm going to be flabbergasted. So here we go. Attempt number 2. Someone's old one's already here. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. So there's 3 drops from me from 1 tree. None of them are, unfortunately, the shinies. But as you can see, when you're getting 3 at a time, the odds of getting them increase substantially. So it did not take me long to get both variants of mine from these trees right now. But this is the second closest one other than the Myers Market for the cypress trees that I would recommend going to. I'll probably do a quick cut here and transfer over to the next teleporter of the second best location in the Red Sands for the original big trees that I would recommend. So I'll catch you guys here in a minute. All right, so we're back at the teleporter. Now, the next tree that is consistently dropping bunnies that I would recommend going to, that is in close proximity to a teleporter, is going to be this one right here. It's going to be in the Red Sands territory. Just go to this teleporter. Teleport in. And again, I have a screenshot of this route in the PDF as well. And all you're going to do, the one you're looking for, is going to be that tree right there. So you're just going to hop on your motorcycle, drive down that road, follow the path I have in the PDF. You're going to follow the road down, go back onto the main road, and then ramp up this little cliff right here. And then the tree is going to be right on the top of the hill in the middle here. So that is the location of the tree here. Then you can drive away. If you drive far enough, it should respawn, or you can just drive quickly back to the teleporter, switch worlds, and that should instantly make it respawn. But that is the location of that one, and that's pretty consistent for the Red Sands trees. And then the last one, which is obviously going to be the fastest, but by far the most contested tree, is going to be this location right here. This tree is located right here, so you're going to want to spawn at this teleporter. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And then from this teleporter location, you're going to want to hop on your bike and follow the route I take now. This route screenshot will be in the PDF as well. Going to take the bridge. Tree we're heading to is right over there. And the reason why this one's the fastest, for those of you that don't know, is it's located inside of a Prime War zone. So if you run in and out of the zone quickly enough, you can actually force the tree to respawn faster. So normally it's like a 3 to 4 minute wait. You can do it in a matter of seconds just by running back and forth between the barrier. So a lot of people, I'm lagging all over the place on this server right now. But a lot of people will be farming this one. So that's why I wanted to show some alternate locations after the update for other trees, because I'll probably show a clip right now as we're driving up to it. There was like 2 or 3 people there at the tree prior to me, and there was probably 10, 15 plus Fetch-a-Lot bunny bubbles hovering around that tree, this tree right here, because it is by far the most popular location to farm these. Just because it's such a quick respawn. But here we are. Already got someone sitting here. Let's go ahead and take a crack at it, see what we get. Apparently I have 2 to claim. Look at, there's just bunnies everywhere. Let's go ahead and chop our own down, see what happens. Very, very surprising. None. But I can show you how the respawn works. So this is the barrier to the Prime War. All you have to do is leave the zone, run a little ways back, and you'll see it spawns back in. Now when you run back for the first time, it's going to disappear. Or not. Apparently they have fixed it. Normally it took about 6 back and forths to get this tree to respawn, but that was instantaneous. So it looks like it's even faster now. So I don't know if I already got 4 or so and it's starting to throttle. That's why I was saying I'm not sure if there's like a cap that we can get. But you would just keep running in and out of this little zone. Okay, that makes more sense. So now it disappeared. And normally from my testing, it takes about 6 back and forths to permanently get this tree to stay there. So there's 3. There's 4. Might be 5 just because I was talking this time around. But you can see all the leftover bunnies that people have left there. This is by far the most popular one. So there's 5. And it also won't respawn if there's a Prime War going on. So I should probably check that. Nope, there isn't. So maybe on this one. Yep, there we go. And then you can just go back and chop it down again. I don't seem to be getting any, which is why I'm wondering if there's a mild throttle to the drop rate on some of these. Because I've gotten 8, 9, 10, and then I've only gotten 3 or 4 every once in a while. So it seems like the drop rate just decreases. It's still possible to get them, but it just gets harder and harder after like your first 3 or 4 that you get. It's going to be the same for the Digby boys. So I guess on the topic of Digby boys, that can be the next thing that I go over. So there's actually a new king for farming silver and gold, in my opinion. A new location that I should have known way sooner than this, because it's that good. But it is actually the ice fields. Right here. So since we're nearby, might as well do this now. And the great thing about this is you don't have to worry about weight capacity loading you down and things like that, because you're going to be on your vehicle 99% of the time. So for this particular farm, again, a screenshot will be in the PDF. You're going to want to spawn at that same exact teleporter, drive across the bridge, and then start right over the hill, kind of right here. So what I like to do, I'll go to the starting point, and let's just get an idea of what we can get in one run here. Once I do this run, I'll maybe show a secondary clip of a couple runs that I did where it was just insane the amount of drops that I was getting. But all you want to do is start right here, because some can spawn in this little cluster, and then just see how many nodes. And what's great is it's flat ground, so you can see the nodes very easily compared to the other location. But let's hope that we can get some drops here. But you're just going to drive around the perimeter of this looking for silver nodes. And the Digby boys, from my experience, only drop from silver nodes, by the way. Other than the initial tin one that you get at the start of the game. I have not had a single Digby boy after the patch drop from gold anymore. Some people had rare reports of getting it from gold ones. I have never seen it. Prime example right here. Let's switch to our solar drill. You can use solar drill or the advanced electric drill. I have found that the skill ratings are actually a little bit higher with the advanced electric drill. Whether or not that's true, who knows? That just happens to be my findings. But nothing so far, and the fact that I see that Digby floating there makes me a little worried. But here's a silver here. And there's a Digby boy. First try. And I've seen 2 to 3 Digby boys spawn from one ore. So they're definitely spawning much faster. And again, from what I have found, it's been about 3 to 4 very easily. And then the possibility within an hour of getting 5 or 6 just at lower drop rate percentages. And then after an hour, I think it resets because then I tend to get a couple more pretty fast. But it's at least 2 or 3 that I should be able to get here fairly quickly, as long as there's enough nodes, which there should be in this zone if everything's refreshed. But you just gotta keep driving around the bank. You're gonna get the warning to not go out of bounds because the border to the next zone that we're not allowed to go to is like right around here. You can see the wall once we get close enough. So just stay on this inside perimeter so you don't have to listen to the audio over and over again. You just drive around this entire embankment. It's also a great spot, even if you don't get Digby's from it, to farm gold, because they're all over the place here. And all of these, there's another gold. All of these have the potential to be silver or gold spawns. So we're at 3 golds and 1 silver already. Want some more silver here. There's plenty more coming up. It's possible that they were all farmed. I like to look up there a little bit. Some can spawn up in those bushes. You don't have to worry about having a sniper rifle. You can just scout from your motorcycle. Keep following this little path here. All of these can potentially be spawns. Nothing so far. This little cluster up on the mountain can have gold and silver. So I like to look over and check that as I'm driving by. No spawns on silver here. Probably do another quick run of this route just to test my luck again. I like to run down here as well, because a bunch can spawn at the end of this little peninsula here. So it looks like none there. And then I loop back. Check these mountains. These hills, rather. Nothing in here. Yeah, someone's definitely gone through and looted the silver on this world. Because there's normally way more than this. But that's no biggie. We can quickly go and do one more. Just for the demonstration. And then you just want to take this little road and drive right back to the teleporter. Actually, we're at, what, 34 minutes? I probably won't run it again, because I don't want it to take too long. The other thing, though, that I want to mention before we move to the next location is when you first spawn at this teleporter, you want to potentially have a sniper rifle, because from spawn, if you look here and look over here, silver nodes and gold nodes can spawn just outside of the teleporter as well. So on your way to the road, you might find a couple ores right from the get-go, right as you enter the teleporter. So that is the new best run. I know that run didn't seem like it. Maybe at the end I'll show a clip of my like god tier run where there was like a dozen ores that I was able to collect in one run. But trust me, there is far more gold and silver on that loop than the other location that I'm about to show you guys. So the second best location that I like to go to is going to be this one right here. Depending on the time of day, you may want to try this one. I know during the afternoon, a lot of people now like to try that Ice Fields one. If you don't have any luck there, this is another good one. So let's go and spawn to this teleporter, and I'll do one lap of this run. So from here, this was my favorite run in my previous video, and the reason I changed it is because I had memorized the spawns of all the ores, and after the patch, with the increased drop rates, I did this run again for the first time, and they actually significantly reduced the amount of ore spawns for this particular location. So I don't know if the devs saw my video and were like, that's a little OP, and they reduced it. Yeah, it's definitely not as much as it was before. There's still some good drops, but not as much as there was before. And just for the hell of it, I'm going to switch to a world that I've had some good luck on. Let's go to 10, just to change it up a little bit. But from spawn, the first thing you want to do, and again, this route will also be in the PDF, you want to quickly look back here and scope in, because these clusters can have silver and gold as well. Then you want to scope over here and get some over there and potentially across this way. Doesn't look like we got any. And then you want to follow the route that I'm about to take. Let's go and pop a couple waters here. Jump on this rock, glide down. They don't have any more ore spawns on this side of the bank. They used to have a 3-pack of ores right there, but there isn't any more. Looks like we got our first silver right there. So you want to just cross this riverbank and check all of these ores right on this side of the river. Let's go for this first one. See if we get lucky. And nothing. Should have 2 to 3 more Digby drops before you start noticing a throttle. So we should get some more. Then you want to scope here. See if there's any on the top level. Nothing really spawns from this side. So I just look really quick. And if I don't see it, I look down. Don't see anything. You want to jump across the river. And all of these have been reduced. There's not as many spawns on this side now. There used to be like 4 or 5 there. There's only one. Used to be one that spawns up there. Now none of them spawn. So this side in particular has a lot less. But you want to scope in on all of these. Doesn't look like we've got any. Nothing there. And then from here, you want to run straight up this hill. And the reason why you want to run up the hill is because there's a bunch of wild dogs that spawn on that side. So if you run up and check these particular nodes along this bank, which there isn't that many that spawn there anymore, face to face, you're going to aggro all those dogs and they're going to follow you around everywhere. So this group of ores was disappearing. If you watch my previous video, there's no ore clusters here anymore. This was like a 5 stack of ore, so nothing spawns there anymore. So that's another reason why I felt it's not as good. Check all these through the dirt. Come over here. Check those clusters. And then now, to make up for the ores that we weren't getting in the original spots, I like to actually go over here now because I've had some good luck with spawns just across the road. So we'll see if we get lucky this time. Don't really see anything so far. Quickly scope in down here. Doesn't look like we got anything there either. It's unfortunate. And then you loop back to the ones that were on the corner of the cliff right here. These have the potential to be silver and gold. So we got a bunch of them here. Nothing once again. And then from here, there's no ore that spawns in the middle of this little cliff. So I just hang to the outside edge and follow it all the way to the end. The next ones we're going to be looking for are along this flat over here. So we just want to continue to run. And then once you get to the back side of the cliff, You want to just scope down at all of these ores and see if any of them happen to be silver. We are getting very unlucky. Nothing. So this is a prime example of why I don't feel like this is the best route anymore compared to the ice fields. We're just not getting any luck. But when you're gliding off that cliff, this is the next direction you want to look down. Spot left and right, spot over there. They've added more to that little spawn. Still don't see any. They reduced the amount of ore that was in this location, but they can still spawn here. It's just rarer now, and there's less to choose from. All of these can potentially be silver. Nothing. And then over here, everything's being drastically farmed right now. And at this late at night, I'm surprised I'm not getting more options. But that is the two routes that I would recommend for the Digby boys. And then to finish it out, you would just check these final nodes right here. Run up this little hill in between the rocks, go right back to the teleporter, and then rinse and repeat for all 10 worlds. Honestly, I think that the ice fields is the new go-to location, and it'll take you probably 30 to 40 minutes to do all 10 worlds of this anyway, with all your gathering. So you might only want to do one or the other. But that is the two locations for Digby boys now. Moving on, last but not least, there is the two trees. Here's the two ones for the desert. And then here is the routes for the Digby boys that I have in the PDF. Slimes, don't really have to go over those. Just farm the Ravenous Hunter, like I mentioned. Butterflies. Best locations, in my opinion, is going to be the Glitchiz Securement point. These, I have a feeling, spawn and refresh every 30 minutes to an hour. So you just go to any of these 3 or so locations and farm all 10 worlds on them. But let's go back to the game. For the first one and my favorite one, the one that's most consistent, where I've gotten almost every single one of my blue butterflies, was this location right... Where are you? Right here. It is the Glitchiz Securement point. You're going to spawn in at this teleporter, drive around this road, go up this dirt hill here, and then this top building on the back side of the compound. All of these buildings are going to be like copy-paste buildings of the same type of building, just in different locations. You're going to want to go up the stairs, go into the facility, and then at this location, the butterfly is actually going to be located on the bottom floor in the back bottom corner room. You just jump over the rafters on the catwalk, drop down, and you should see the butterfly spawn in that room. But this is the most consistent location that I've gone to, where I found almost every single one of my blue butterflies. I got both of them here. So that's one good spawn location, and I've seen it spawn up to level 4 from this location, so keep that in mind. The other locations, if you're not having any luck there, though, would be the location outside of the Gaia Monolith. So you can spawn at this teleporter here, outside the Gaia Cliff Monolith, glide down, follow the road, and then this building right here is going to be a copy-paste of the previous building I just mentioned, but inside of the Gaia Research Ruins. Same thing, go through the back door, only the spawn for the butterfly this time around isn't going to be in the bottom floor in the corner room. It's actually going to be right on top on the first floor you enter. Once you go down the steps, it's going to be right up on the catwalk. You'll just see it floating there in the air. So feel free to go and grab that. That's another potential butterfly drop that is a guaranteed butterfly every single time. Another location is going to be up here in the 73 source extraction point. This one I try to avoid because you have to spawn from this teleporter here and drive all the way up, but the building that it spawns in is in the back corner of the facility. It's going to be this building right here. So you have to fight through a bunch of enemies to get there. They're higher level, so you have to fight your way in every single time. It's just not a convenient way. The upside is it has some of the highest level butterflies in the game that you can get for shinies. So if you want to farm the highest level one, this would be the location to do it. It's just going to be more annoying and less efficient. But that is the location for that one. And then the final one, which I wouldn't recommend, but it is very quick, is going to be the Alpha Institute. The reason I don't like this one, it does have a teleporter right outside of it. You can just drive your bike up this ramp, go straight through the front doors of the downed monolith to the bottom stairs into where the boss would be, and then in the back gate area where the like container room would be, deviation can spawn right next to the gate. But the reason why I don't like this one is because the butterfly shares a spawn with the lightning orb deviation at this location, so you're not guaranteed to get the butterfly every single time. I've had bad luck where like 4 or 5 lightning orbs spawned one after another after switching worlds instead of a butterfly, which can be really frustrating. So I try to avoid this one. It is one of the quicker ones if you're lucky, but you do have to worry about a second deviation drop. So those are the 3 or 4 locations that I recommend for butterflies. Again, they're about a 30 minute to an hour respawn. You just pick a location, go through all 10 worlds. If you don't get one, swap to a secondary location, do all 10 worlds again, and that is the fastest way to get the butterflies. Moving on, last but not least, we went over Digby's, Bunnies, the silos, containers. We just have the mushrooms left. Now, mushrooms, I feel like, are the one thing that's throttled a little bit. You can get 1 per run on average from what I've seen, and it tends to refresh from what I've noticed about every hour or so. So if you just wait an hour, come back, you should be able to get 1 more deviation spawn to drop, whether it's a shiny or not. If you don't get a shiny and it's a regular, even if it's a regular, I wouldn't bother continuing to farm mushrooms unless someone has seen it drop double. You are probably just really lucky. I have never seen more than 1 drop in 1 run, and that is across multiple worlds. So I wouldn't really bother. It's not really worth it. The other thing, though, that has the potential to be much more effective that I wanted to kind of go over is that several people, and myself included, have tested growing shinies in your farm. I grew a 140 crop farm, which I'll show here in a second. And out of those 140 crops, I got 6 deviations to spawn. Unfortunately, they were all grow shrooms. I got 0 shinies. And that being said, from what I'm told from the people who have consistently tested this method, it works much, much better if you do it in Eternal Land. Not only are all of the farm materials that you need to grow the mushrooms basically free, you don't have to use Stardust Source and things like that to use like boosted deviated fertilizer. It only costs astral sand, but from the reports that I've gotten, doing this method in the Eternal Land has yielded much higher rates of shinies dropping. One guy in particular messaged multiple times and told me that he was getting 4 or 5 shiny deviants out of a 210 crop plot, from what I'm told, consistently. And then the only downside is if you want to trade them back into your live server, they would cost 800 material points to transfer them over. We get 20,000 total. So depending on if it's an alt character or if you've had fewer things that you needed to carry over and you had some spare points, you will have to pay to transfer them over, but you can potentially get them much easier if you do the farming method in the Eternal Land. So that's probably the last thing that I'll show here is I'll go and I'll teleport to base. I'm on my bike right now, or no, I'm not, but I can go here. But just as proof to show the method at work here. And I did basically 2 rotations because my base can only had 70 crops. So 2 rotations, about 140 crops total. And I did deviated fertilizer on every single one. And this is the results that I got, at least in game. So as you can see, we got 3, 6, 7, 8 deviations total, actually. Tons of deviated mushrooms, but all 8 of my deviations were the normal grow shrooms, unfortunately. So in the actual game, I have not seen the shiny deviation spawn through farming in the actual game, but from what I'm told from multiple sources, it is working right now in Eternal Land. So it'll be cheaper. You just have to pay the 800 points to carry them over. What is up, you guys? Glitches from the future here. I just came across something very, very interesting. I know I just talked about the farming method within the game and how inefficient it was, because if you looked at my crops, all of my deviations that spawned were just normal grow shrooms. However, for shits and giggles, I went over because I was curious And I was like, what happens if I collect these? And I collected the one that was right here, and it was an extra large grow shroom. So even though they are spawning as normal deviations and looking like normal grow shrooms when you hover over them, there is a chance that they can be shiny. And the very first one I selected was a shiny. So let's go through and collect all the other ones I have and see if we get any more. So I just got an extra large from this one. So what do we get from this one now? It says grow shroom, and we got a grow shroom. Says grow shroom, and we got a grow shroom. Says grow shroom, and we got an extra large and a regular grow shroom. Oh, so you're actually getting both potentially every time. So no matter what, you get a grow shroom, but if it's a shiny, you get an additional one on top of that by the looks of it. So that was a regular grow shroom and a normal extra large. Here is another extra large, regular grow shroom. We got two more here. We got the green touch. Green touch, that's the last one that I needed. And another extra large. Holy crap. So this is actually probably the easiest way that I have found. So yeah, there you go. There's proof. So it was a visual bug. So you can grow your crops. With 140 crops, I had 8 deviations to drop total. They all looked like normal grow shrooms, but out of those 8, we got like 4 or 5 extra larges and 1 blue shiny toxic mushroom. So this may be the new best method for farming the shiny mushrooms. And you guys just saw it live. So I'll add this into the clip. Never mind my comments at the end of the video. But that is the results of farming in your base. So we can check that one off the list. Honestly, with how fast they're spawning now in the mushroom cave, realistically, for most players, that's probably going to be the most efficient way. If you're consistent with it, once an hour, on the hour, just go back, get your 1 drop, and then try again if you don't get it. But yeah, that is the results that I've gotten. And that is pretty much everything I think we needed to cover. So yeah, I'll be sure to link this little cheat sheet down in the description for you guys to download for free and use that at your leisure. But that is the new updated, new and improved Ultimate Shiny Farming Guide. If you guys enjoyed it, if it helped you out, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback. Also, if you want to keep up to date with all my future content, I've got a bunch of build videos coming out now finally in the next couple days. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming alerts. And then last but not least, if you want to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, feel free to check the links down in the description and join us on the Discord. We've got over 1,000 members in there now, many of which are playing Once Human. So hopefully you jump in and we see you guys around here soon. But until the next one, hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all later.